I think when people reflect back over my personal experience of selling Pioneer Computer Group and Distinction Software, that they say to me, yes, but Tom, that was in the 80s and 90s and the turn of the century. It was high-tech. One business was located in England, the other business was located in the United States. And during that period, there was the internet boom and the biotechnology boom, and people were used to paying very high multiples for small companies. And therefore, is it applicable to other sorts of firms? Well, I want to give you an example of a business that I worked on with one of my students to show you that the model will work in almost every case. Now, here was a student that had a small travel company specialising in sports packages. And when he came to me, he said to me he wanted to sell the business, that he'd borrowed money in order to develop the business, but he got to the point where he needed some more financial stability because of his personal circumstances, and therefore he wanted to sell the business. Well, it turned out that the business only had 5 staff, and after a period of 5 years, it had just got into profit and it was making $15,000 profit. So after a brief discussion on how he could prepare the business from an internal point of view, systems, processes, governance, and putting in a succession plan, we left it at that and he went away to do that work. 6 months later, he came back. He said that the business was now ready for sale, but that he'd also been to see a business broker who told him that the business was worth $60,000, 4 times EBIT, very conventional valuation. And I said to him, yes, but what they've done is they've valued the business on the basis of what you've done with the business and what you've achieved. And they valued the business on the basis of someone coming in and doing the same thing that you're doing right now. And what we need to do is we need to look at what the business could be in the hands of a much more able and better funded buyer. So let's look at a potential strategic buyer. So what have you got, or what do you do, that would be attractive to a large, let's say, national travel company? Well, clearly he had the specialisation in sports travel, but he argued that he wasn't doing anything different than a number of other companies that worked in the same sector. Even so, I thought that we could package the business in such a way that if it could be quickly scaled or exploited by a larger company, it would still be worth more money. And so we spent a long time talking about a potential buyer and what a buyer might achieve with what he had in his business. 6 months later, he put the business up for sale and we had a discussion about the result. He had identified a number of large national travel firms that could potentially buy his business, that could exploit the knowledge of sports package travel that he had within his staff and within his systems. And he got this into a negotiation with 5 potential buyers. He negotiated the deal himself. But before he told me this, he said that he really wanted to achieve $450,000 for this business to pay off his personal debts, which I have to say I thought was an incredible stretch of the imagination. However, he took the calls from the buyers: 50,000, 100,000, 150,000, 250,000. At this point in time, I couldn't resist saying to him, "What did you get?" And he told me, $640,000, close to 40 times EBIT. I was absolutely staggered. And I said, well, how is that possible? And his answer was very simple. He simply said, Tom, I followed your process exactly. Which was very flattering, but I still wanted to know what he did. Well, what he did was he looked at all the transactions that he'd done over the previous 12 months, and he'd worked out what a much larger company could do with each of the sports packages. So 3 people to Indianapolis, a larger company could do 8. 2 people to the French Open, a large company could do 5. And the company that he sold out to had 26 retail stores, so they were able to quickly push his sports package products and expertise to a much larger customer base. In the previous year, he had done $500,000 worth of business. In the first 12 months, in the hands of the new buyer, they did $3.1 million of revenue. He had clearly justified his sale price.